Veggie sausage. Okay, so we're going to have a little roundup of COP26. Over to Ruth, who's going to help facilitate the group, telling us some of what they're doing around amazing places around the country on COP26. And a few bits of
yeah, go get your supper, Phoenix. I'll get started. Okay, yeah, I mean, we've already had a few brief things from people, but yeah, it's just to give each other some ideas and just share. Sally, do you want to come in with what's happening in Leeds?
Well, there's going to be a lot of XR people are actually going up to Glasgow, but the CEC people are going to have a stall in one of our big squares, which is called Millennium Square. And we're going to, hopefully, maybe some of Phoenix or Ruth can send us some photographs of successful COPs. That would be brilliant. Or successful CECs, that would be brilliant. To actually be at the back of our stall. And we will have people signing up to what they might want to do. Helen, do you want to add to anything to that?
Yeah, we're going to build a doll's house and make it into a pretend CEC centre and get people to say what they'd like to see in the different rooms. And we want to use your pictures at the back of the doll's house as ideas of things that there are.
So send us some pictures, please.
Anyone who's got pictures, if you can share them on which telegram chat would be best for that?
The main one.
The main one.
And do just, if you just email us, we've got a few saved in a folder as well, so we can send you some through from a few different things.
Yeah, as soon as possible, because if we want to send off for them to be done professionally, we'll need time to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Helen, I love the doll's house idea. Sue, you were doing it. There was a bunch of things happening in Bath, wasn't there, for COP?
So last Saturday we had a green outreach hub, which was focusing on COP. So we had a bit of a small installation. It was like a nature table on one side with like nature, with lots of vegetables and flowers and plants and stuff, and then next to it was like the barren sand with just a few dead bricks and an image from the Planet of the Apes film, which I've never seen, of like the Statue of Liberty crashed into the sand. So it's like nature gives, we just take, and then we had lots of ticking clocks and a ticking clock sort of soundtrack, and then we've borrowed Bradford and Avon XR. I've got a COP clock, which is a bit like a sort of cardboard mini Big Ben, and we also had how old are you in CO2, which was just literally just like years and the parts per million of carbon, and just that how old are you in CO2 with a few little graphs and things. But really, without us like saying anything to people, it really engaged people because they didn't understand it, or they could go and look at when they were born and then parts per million and then parts per million now. So we'd sort of done that as part of our regular green outreach hub thing, which is our sort of pre-CEC outreach that we've been doing. But I know on the 6th of November there's going to be a plans to try and just have a multi, like as many green groups together as possible, doing a having sort of just like an outreach outside of the Abbey. And for our green outreach, what we normally do is like a top tips flyer. So we've done a little A5 double-sided short info about COP26, and so we give that information out to people, and they'll use that on the Saturday as well, hopefully. So I don't know about there are people from Bath XR, quite a lot of people going up to Glasgow, but I haven't engaged at all with what the plans are for doing anything in Glasgow apart from just yeah. But that's where we are with. We've sort of done our little bit of COP26 stuff already, but we also flagged up COP15, which is the biodiversity conference
in China this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be in China next April, May. So yeah, that's all we've done really.
It sounds great though. It's really, yeah, I love how creative everything is. People, dolls houses and deserts.
We've got a very creative person in our group who's brilliant. So
Yeah, comes out ready. Julian, did you have a question?
No, but I've got to go in 5 minutes. And so I just wondered if I could chip in my bit and then I'll watch the rest on recording after.
Go for it. Go for it.
Thanks. All right. So I'm going to say quickly actually about your materials that you're going to share. It'd be great to have a reminder of that again. If there's a drive, just stick a link to it in the chat again, because we need materials too. We have met both of our 2 MPs in Swindon. I just stuck a link in the chat to the little document that we discussed with them, which is quite useful in terms of the urgency and what, just, get them, well, give them a mandate to sort of talk about COP and forward it on to Alok Sharma or his office or whatever. On the November the 6th, there's a sort of union organised thing in Bristol, and we were wondering if we could do a similar thing in Swindon. So we got a little trade union sort of group in Swindon, and also the Labour Party's got a sort of Julo officer who's trying to keep in touch with people. So we might do that, but it's all a bit last minute. So we may or may not have a little copy thing on November the 6th, which is supposed to be a national day of action for COP26, I believe. And we're also engaging with one of the local, well, with the main local college in Swindon. The environmental science lecturer is wanting to do something. So he's going to do it mainly at the college probably, but we may do something in the hub, and we'll hopefully maybe share ideas with them so that we might get some stuff in the Climate Emergency Centre as well. So that's the main stuff we're doing.
That's brilliant, Julian. Sounds like you're doing some great stuff. Is it okay to share that document any wider with the
yes,
Telegram chat? Or
absolutely, yeah. Yep, it's not secret at all. we sent it to our MP. We made it to send to our MP, but I'm sure he won't mind if we give it to other MPs.
I'd like to just hear a little bit more, because Swindon, as you're actually starting to open now, or you've done a lot of your repairs and setup, and you're starting to have a few activities. Where are you at with that? What kind of stage?
Yeah, so we're planning to sort of get the cafe open in probably about the second week of November. We're still sort of gathering all the things and getting all the services connected. One thing we need to do is get a bit better broadband in there. Actually, we're probably going to go with PlusNet Business Broadband. Unfortunately, the minimum contract seems to be about a year. If anyone's got any better ideas, then please let me know. I'd be very interested in the chat or wherever. Yeah, so we're just trying to get the teams ready to get the displays and stuff, and the the boards, and get all the furniture and everything together. Get our certificates for the safety certificate and stuff like that for the cafe, and so that we can we don't get tripped up on too many safety things in the building. Hopefully get our lift working, although that may not be for a little while. So that's where we are, just trying to tie up all the loose ends really, and the main thing is just getting our teams working together and smoothly, and coordinating a program of events, and getting our art done and promotion and all the rest of it.
That's brilliant. So moving forward, do give us a ring, every few weeks, and ask any help and advice. We've got a guy, Kez, who used to be a property guardian manager, and he's an expert in health and safety. He can come round and chuck him a little bit of money, and he can do a full health and safety report and things. So he's good on all the signage and official stuff that you need to do. And he's
brilliant.
Really support and help a few groups. Just on sticking XR stuff front and center in your windows to all groups that goes out. This is about building alliance of many groups, and not one group over others or whatever. And you've just got to be a bit careful. You are dealing with property developers and councils, and a lot of councils declared climate emergency and sympathetic to Extinction Rebellion. Extinction Rebellion does break the law and do some naughty things, as we've all probably been, some of us, part of over the years. And it's best not to advertise that straight up front and centre in your windows. Maybe a little bit of backroom banner painting and meetings and stuff is okay, but just be aware to try and keep it as nice front as much as possible, especially for the first 6 months as they're getting used to you and things like that. And then gradually they go, those people are doing really great stuff. I've seen all the
Yeah. Very wise advice. There was a very good Rupert Reed article in Byline Times, I think it was, which said that XR had done an amazing job in creating space for all this to happen, and now we've got to fill it, basically. And that's what we want to do, as opposed to frightening everyone. Thanks.
And give them hope with solutions and stuff. Keep us posted, Julian, and please do get to chat to us a little bit more. Great stuff in Swindon. We're really glad you're opening up.
Thanks, Vinny. Look forward to talk.
All right. Who's next round the magic? Over to Sunny Preston.
It's not that sunny now, it's pouring down.
Well, I'd get you on that one.
Right, next Wednesday, what we're doing. Right, next Wednesday, the cyclists, the COP26 cyclists are coming through Preston. So I think we're helping to horse them. It's going to be an evening of like talking about cycling and that. The guys and women, they've set off from Parliament Square on the way to Glasgow. So yeah, so we're going to help to horse that event for them. And then on the 6th, I'll put the cyclist website in chat. And then on the 6th, I know there's the COP26 coalition of unions. They're putting on coaches, and I'm guessing they're all around the country from different towns and cities. So if you want to go, look that up. And there's like free coaches, or you just pay a tenner into Glasgow. So I'm going up there with the anti-fracking nanas, and then we can hopefully get a ban on fracking and not just a moratorium. And then in early spring next year, we are hosting a Preston COP1 event at the University of Lancashire. So that's it. I'll put the Coalition 26 link in the chat as well, so people want to look up that if they want to get a coach into Glasgow.
That's brilliant. Big up the nanas, big up the nanas, and big up Debs.
So we'll be all in yellow. Look out for us all, the yellow crew.
For those that don't know, the nanas are the the nanas, the grandmas, and occasional honorary grandfathers are allowed to hang around with the nanas, who defeated the great fracking monster Quadrilla, who are going to pollute a lot of things and mess up our earth and water supply. And the nanas occupied a field with a bit of advice from some of us. Big up the nanas. Okay, spin the magic wheel, round and round we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. Who wants to go next? University Challenge. Where are we going?
Who's the next? Telford, have you got anything happening, Steve?
Yeah, I think I mentioned we've got a local orbit cinema that we're getting involved with. We've been choosing a film, and of course, what happened is the new film that's been released around COP26 is being premiered. So they've managed to get that in on the Thursday, I think it is.
What's the name of the film again? I'll have a look and put the link in the chat for people.
Yeah, bear with me a second. It's called
Eating Your Way to Extinction or something.
Eating Our Way to Extinction. Yeah, it's something like that. Narrated by just happened to have picked it up, and there's no information on the Transition Telford site. But yeah, explores the catastrophic environmental effects of the world's food industries are having on our planet. Compelling featured documentary which opens the lid on the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. So yeah, it's quite an important film, I think.
Really important, because they've just signed a trade deal with New Zealand, so we can get all their cheap, not so well looked after cows beef brought in apparently. So yeah, I just heard on the news today. Yeah, you know. Sue.
Beggars belief, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it does. Sue.
And apart from that, we've been getting involved in, we've got a polar bear that's on its way to COP25. It started, I think, in Bishop's Castle in Shropshire. And we've, a few of our people have been helping to carry this big 26-foot. It's paper mache and something made out of that. It's a sculpture of a polar bear, basically. It's being carried up to COP26. That must be well on its way now. I'm not getting an update of where that's got to, but yeah, they've been helping out with some of that, at least at the start part of the journey.
Brilliant. Thanks, Steve. So a lot going on in Telford. Is it going through Oswestry and those sorts of those groups as well?
Yeah, it's been through Oswestry. It's been through. I think it's. I don't know where it is at the moment, but it certainly was heading towards Cheshire, I think.
Okay, so it might go through Preston and Manchester then, because we've got groups there as well.
It could well end up going through there. Yeah, I don't think you'll miss it if it comes through. It's quite so. It takes about 8 people, I think, to carry it. So it's basically walking up there. What we're doing as part of that little festival is we're having a kind of an outreach sort of gazebo outside the cinema as well, where we're going to be available to have conversations and things. So we'll be there for that.
Brilliant. That's really, really good to hear, Telford.
Sue, did you want to come in with something? So I saw you hand up.
Do put your hands up if you need, folks, or the reaction thing down the bottom.
It was more just something I heard today. I went for a walk with a friend, and they know someone in the sort of poultry industry, and it's like a really well-established British butchers firm that's been around for like 200 years or something, and they used to like breed all their own poultry and chickens and stuff, but now they don't. They sort of buy it in from like all over the world, including from like apparently Brazil and, you know, in numerous other Eastern Europe, but they can sell it as British poultry because they are a well-established British chicken farm or poultry butchers business, and they can quite legally sell it, you know, to places like Waitrose and Sainsbury's as British chicken when it is not British chicken at all. And it's just, I just think it's appalling, you know. So it's just in relation to that eating ourselves to extinction. You know, you might think, oh, you go to like the same Waitrose and you buy British chicken, at least it might have better welfare standards, maybe isn't fed on soy from the Amazon, and
or at least not shipped all right across the world. Yeah,
it's shipped halfway across the world. So yeah, it's just like, that's what we sort of feels like we're up against sometimes, isn't it? So sorry, that's nothing to do with COP26. It just
yeah, definitely sort of resonate with that. The Shropshire is one of the centres of chicken farming in the UK. Well, it's one of the centres of all kind of livestock farming, really. So it's pretty dreadful. And just literally where I'm sitting now, within 4 or 5 miles, there must be getting on for 1 million chickens in sheds at this point in time. So yeah, it's pretty dreadful. There's a farm just down the road that have got 27,000 chickens in each of 4 sheds. And I've just literally been trying to sort of raise an objection for another unit, which is going to generate 300,000 chickens in a facility quite close by to one of the villages here. And yeah, that's obviously 300,000 chickens every 90 days that are bred. So that's how long it takes to grow them. It actually takes only 60 days, but it takes another 30 days to clear all the crap out of there. And where that goes is onto the fields locally, and the phosphates then runs off because there's too much phosphate for the ground, into the rivers, and kills everything in the rivers, and you end up with a sludge of algae going downstream. So we've got lots of protests and things planned as part of the Green Party stuff about this. But yeah, so yeah, it's the food industry is pretty dreadful if you don't know already about it.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people who work in abattoirs end up with symptoms of post-traumatic stress. Debs was just asking, the polar bear, is there a link or something that, is there like a website or a link that they could, so that Preston or Manchester can see if they can?
Give me a minute and I'll see if I can find at least a photograph of it. But yeah, I'll see if I can find a link for it. I don't know the organisation that's doing it, unfortunately. Now, if one of the other people who are in our CEC was here, they know much more about it than I.
If you could get, I might ask them if you could get them to just chuck a link in the chat if you can't find it, then
Yeah, I'll do that. Leave it with me and I'll have a dig around.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve. Got an action point.
Action points are good. We love action points. Okay, so we're planning to go up to Glasgow and network as the kind of UK Climate Emergency Centre network, and basically go and take literature information. I'm hoping to get one of those rollout pulley banner things designed so that we can show people around the country that there's a lot of different teams and groups and physical spaces, and go and network and talk to as many people as possible. I've been to a lot of the big international summits, quite a few of the COPs over the years, to Paris, to Copenhagen, to Bonn. They're all very, very interesting affairs with people from all over the world who, as well as, there's a few levels to it. You've got the politicians level that most people never get into, and then you've got a medium level NGO and groups, and then there's a lot of street activism, marches and demos and all sorts of workshops and talks and cinemas and things going on. So it really is a big multi jamboree of environmental people and groups. So hopefully go up there with quite a lot of leaflets, something to go up there and stay there for about a week and a half, and just network to as many groups as possible about the Climate Emergency Centres network and what we're doing, and groups around the country. So if there's any people we meet from around the country, we'll tell them that, you know, there might be a group near you, get in touch, and we need skills, resources, money. And if we get to any official type people, we will be telling them that now is the time to really give these spaces for the community and properly fund them, properly resource them, get skilled staff and people who can help, you know, and really, you know, open the doors for a big UK-wide and also a globally coordinated, you know, citizens initiative to create spaces to help the environment, because it's absolutely critical, and these places are fire stations. We're also hoping to, we've been chatting to Sam Tarry MP about doing a kind of green industrial revolution. There was talk about possibly doing a bit during COP. I think it's going to be after COP now, in the few weeks after, about some kind of green industrial revolution or Green New Deal event. And there's talk about Alice Long Bailey coming, and maybe Jules Goodlink and Vince Cable, and, you know, try to get it as cross-party as possible to talk about the Green New Deal and what we're going to do post-COP, hopefully to bring together all the strands of, okay, so you've had your big jamboree, now what are we actually going to do? Because just as a Paris Climate Summit agreed some things that were below what all the activists hoped for, and they felt it was a failure, but the world said, at least we've got this level of it, you know, we need to push all the pressure to our governments to make it as strong as possible. So yeah, we'll probably have some follow-up events on COP at the Climate Emergency Centre in Ilford and see how we can draw groups together, see what we can do. Okay.
Abington we haven't heard from yet.
Abington and Leeds.
Yeah, because there's nothing planned. We're just trying to sort out our legals and our training. There will be, we will go to Oxford, where they will be holding a street event. Friends of the Earth, I think, are leading that with a lot of help from XR. So there's nothing currently planned, but I'm sure come the day, so long as we're not turfed out of our, it's called the Mouse Hole, the cafe that we are occupying. As long as we're not turfed out, I'm sure we'll be there on the day. And I think our tactic up to Christmas, at least, will be reactive. We want to know what the people, the public of Abingdon, are thinking. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? And then what are they going to suggest we do? So we have a tree of their thoughts and their feelings, and we have a suggestion box of what to do about it. And we want to listen, because it's a bizarre thing where you live in a town of 35,000 intelligent people, and they just think it's business as usual. So the only interesting conversations we have is people who refer back to the war, refer to biodiversity in Transylvania, or refer to grandchildren. And people who live a normal life live day to day, and there is no reference point to react to what is an emergency. So yeah, we're listening. But I'm sure during the COP, I'm sure we'll be there to listen, because it'll be in the media and will be an outlet for people to come and talk to us. So that's, yes, I'm afraid that's all Abingdon has to report.
I think good to hear. I'm just going to raise my hand. Oxford, there's a very beginnings of a CEC team in Oxford. I don't know if you're in touch with them.
Yeah, they visited us on our launch. Oxford is much bigger than Abingdon, and their likely model will be north, south, east, and west.
Right, so they'll have 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they'll be good people to link up with. And I just wanted to say, so we, Phoenix and I went to, and the Islington team had a meeting with councillors and things on Monday, right before my birthday. And we had really good people's assembly where we sort of, hearing from different groups that were around Islington, and they was very much saying the same thing, as we need to start listening and not talking. So yeah, so that listening to and hearing what's going on, I think was definitely a big theme. So I think I totally hear what you were saying there, Daniel. I'm listening, I'm hearing you.
One of the best, I mean, the councillors said they were listening a lot. One of the best things I took from that Islington group was I got my friend Mark to come, and he's very big in the black community and gets entrepreneurs in and this, that, and the other. And he turned around in this people's assembly and he said, people see my estate as a problem estate, and that it causes problems and crime around the area and this, that, and the other. He said, but let me tell you, like, yeah, there is like 10% of the people who live there cause some problems and stuff. He said the other 80%, he said, they want to get on. They want to start something up. They want to be an entrepreneur. They want to start something. They want an opportunity to get up, to lift themselves up. And he's brought so many of the kind of black community into Ilford to run stalls and events. We had a Women in Business conference event the other day. And, what's seen as problems can be solutions if people are given the space to do these things. And the solutions for a lot of things we're talking about at COP are there already, but we don't have the space to build them. So that's one of the big messages we need to take to COP is give us the space, give us the tools, give us the funding, and get out of the way and let's get on with it sometimes. Anyway, that's my side. I'm talking to some government and council people. Anyway, thinking positive. We need to do these things, and we're making these spaces. And so, what you just said from Abingdon, that's brilliant. Everything adds up. Every drop makes an ocean, and every acorn builds a forest. So collectively, we all do what we can. It's growing, so that's good. Okay, 15 minutes to ish.
I'm just going to quick feedback from my area, the Godalming Waverley area. There's a website, the What Next, which is the Godalming website, has a link to all the COP26 events planned for the Waverley area, which I put in the chat at the beginning. So yeah, that's got some ideas as well about. And
then Sally, we got you after Ruth.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you, so I had to join again. But Helen would agree, we've done a heck of a lot supporting Spanish walkers coming from Portsmouth to COP, and we've done a lot in Leeds as a result of that. But the thing that I want to specifically ask you about tonight is we just had a meeting today about CEC centres, and we are inviting a lot of top people from solicitors, accountants, local authority people, business people to actually have a meeting before, just after Christmas. And it would be really great if either Ruth or Phoenix could join us on that occasion to actually start launching our CEC centres. So that's what we're looking at. So the two things really from tonight is, one, to ask you to come up to see us sometime in January.
Literally, we could come up in my van.
I would be delighted.
And the other thing is definitely to send us some photographs of CEC centres so that we can put them in on our big thing, which we're doing on Millennium Square on the 6th of November.
So downloads on Telegram, so don't worry about them.
So those are our two requests.
Yeah, let us know dates for the new year, and we'll see what we can do in terms of possibly trying.
Okay. We actually said we need Ruth because Phoenix is nice and bouncy, but Ruth looks very respectable.
Yeah, we could send our respectable agent Ruth. She's very she's presentable. We could brush her hair a bit.
Those are our two requests for tonight.
Come on, smarten up a bit, Ruth. Put a shirt on. Have a shave as well.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording because I've got some good ideas there. It's amazing how much was going on there for the COP stuff. Brilliant
Yeah,
to hear.
great.
I love. There's so many things you wouldn't even think of that just come out of like, yeah, when you just go off and do. But yeah, loads of really great ideas. Thanks, guys. I'm going to
Gives me hope.
share it with the chat.
Gives us hope to see, you know, everyone